Right now, two people are waking up in two different houses, and by tonight, their bodies will have done two completely opposite things. The first one walks into the kitchen and makes the breakfast everyone calls healthy. Oatmeal, a sliced banana, a drizzle of honey, a tall glass of orange juice. She feels responsible. She feels like she did it right. The second one, an older man 2 streets over, does almost nothing with food for the first 90 minutes of his day. He is not on a diet, he has never counted a calorie in his life, and he is leaner at 60 than most people are at 30. The strange part is what he does in those quiet 90 minutes before he eats. This one small thing you would walk straight past if you saw it through his window. That single thing is the reason his body burns while hers stores. I am going to walk you right back into his morning and show you exactly what it is. But hold on, because if I tell you now, it will not land. First, you have to see what that healthy bowl is actually doing to you. Almost everyone believes fat loss runs on a simple equation, and that belief is exactly why they stay stuck. The equation says, eat a healthy breakfast, move a little, and the weight comes off. It is the foundation of every diet app and every gym sales pitch, and for a huge number of people, it simply does not hold up. Not because they are lazy, but because the equation leaves out one variable entirely. That variable is a hormone called cortisol, and it is sitting at its highest point of the day at the exact moment you sit down to eat. So the real danger was never just the food, it was the food meeting the clock, and the clock is about to make everything worse. There is a 30-minute window every morning where this breakfast does the most damage, and almost everyone eats inside it. Scientists call it the cortisol awakening response. Within about 30 minutes of opening your eyes, your cortisol can climb by roughly 50%. That surge is normal. It is what gets you out of bed. But here's what they don't tell you. Research published in the journal Obesity has linked elevated morning cortisol directly to increased abdominal fat, the exact place you are trying to shrink. So when cortisol is already peaking and you pour fast sugar on top of it, your body wraps that energy around your middle on purpose, and the spike is only half of it, because the crash that comes next is where the real trap closes. Let me name the dangerous breakfast exactly, because vague advice helps nobody, and this needs to be specific. It is the breakfast that is almost pure fast carbohydrate dressed up to look clean. Cereal with milk, oatmeal loaded with banana and honey, toast with jam, fruit juice, a smoothie made of only fruit, or sweetened yogurt with the fruit already at the bottom. On their own, none of these are poison, but eaten together, first thing on an empty stomach, on top of that cortisol peak, they become the most efficient fat-storing meal you can possibly eat. The reason is one missing thing on the plate, and once you see it, you will never build a breakfast the same way again. A breakfast like that has almost no protein and almost no fat to slow it down, and that single gap is what makes it so dangerous. With nothing to break it, the sugar hits your bloodstream like a wave. Your blood sugar spikes hard, your body floods the system with insulin, and insulin is the one hormone that tells your body to stop burning fat and start storing it. Then, an hour or two later, it all crashes just as hard, and your body reads that crash as a stress event. Cortisol rises again, cravings follow, and by 10:30 you are standing at the snack drawer, certain you have no discipline. You are not weak, you are set up, and the worst part is that this setup does not stay contained to one morning.
Here is what genuinely surprises people. This damage compounds, quietly, every single day, until it feels like your own body is broken. Every time you ride that spike and crash, you train your body to expect it. Your baseline cravings creep up, your energy gets jagged, and because you crashed at 10:30, you reach for more coffee, which pushes cortisol even higher on an already stressed system. Multiply that by 365 mornings, and you get the person who cuts calories, hits the gym, does everything right, and still cannot move the weight around their middle. They are fighting a hormonal pattern with tools that were never built to touch it. The one tool that actually touches it is the meal they keep getting wrong. So let me show you the swap that fixes it. The fix is not skipping breakfast forever, and it is not some expensive powder, which is exactly why most people overlook it. It is changing the order of what hits your bloodstream first. The rule is simple. Lead with protein and fat, not sugar. When protein and fat go in before any carbohydrate, they dramatically slow how fast glucose enters your blood, which means no violent spike, no brutal crash, and no insulin flood screaming at your body to store fat. Same mealtime, same effort, completely different signal. So the only question left is what actually goes on the plate, and the first option is one you already have in your fridge. Start with eggs, and start eating the whole egg, because the part most people throw away is the part doing the work. The yolk is where the choline and the real nutrients live, so scraping it into the bin is like buying a car and leaving the engine at the dealership. More importantly, studies show people who eat eggs at breakfast naturally eat fewer calories for the rest of the day, simply because the protein and fat keep hunger flat for hours. That is fat loss happening for free hours after you finished eating. But eggs are not your only move, and the next option packs even more protein into even less effort. If eggs are not your thing, reach for plain full-fat Greek yogurt or cottage cheese, and ignore the sugary versions pretending to be health food. Plain Greek yogurt is around 80% protein by calorie. Cottage cheese gives you roughly 25 grams of protein for about 200 calories, one of the best protein to calorie ratios in any grocery store on earth. Built as your base, either one flattens the glucose curve from anything else you add. And yes, you can still have your berries and even a little oats, but only if they sit in the right place on the plate. And that placement is the entire difference.
Here is the rule that turns the same foods from fat storing to fat burning. The carbs go on top of the protein, never as the base. Berries on the yogurt, not juice on an empty stomach. A spoon of oats over the cottage cheese, not a bowl bowl of oats alone. It is the same 90 seconds of effort and almost the same ingredients, but one version spikes you and one version keeps you burning, and you will feel the difference in your cravings by the afternoon of day 1. Change only this and your mornings change. But none of this is the full picture yet, because there is still that man 2 streets over, the one who eats nothing for 90 minutes and stays lean at 60. And what he does before he ever touches food is the piece that ties this whole thing together. So let me walk you back into his morning, because what he does is so simple, you will almost be angry nobody told you sooner. Before any food, before coffee, he pours 1 glass of warm water and drinks it slowly by the window while the street is still empty. That is it. After 7 or 8 hours of sleep with 0 fluid, his body, like yours, wakes up mildly dehydrated while cortisol is already climbing. Most people hit that rising cortisol with coffee on an empty stomach, which is close to pouring fuel on a fire that is already lit. The warm water does the opposite. The minerals in it help regulate cortisol, a squeeze of lemon adds vitamin C that has been shown to blunt cortisol spikes, and in 2 minutes his nervous system gets one clear message: we are safe, we do not need to brace. He does not call it a strategy. To him, it is just how a morning begins. But the water itself is not even his real secret, because the secret is the order he does everything in. His whole morning runs in one quiet sequence, and the sequence is the thing almost nobody copies. Water, pause, protein. Warm water first. Then he holds his coffee for 60 to 90 minutes, so his body clears the sleep chemical adenosine on its own, instead of slamming him with a 2 p.m. crash that would only spike cortisol again. Then, and only then, a breakfast built on protein. That order, repeated every single day, is why he is lean at 60 without a gym, without a diet, without ever counting a thing. Because the fat around his middle, and around yours, was never really about willpower. It was about hormones, and hormones bent to one thing above everything else, which is exactly why tomorrow morning matters more than this entire video. Bring it all together, because the order matters as much as the food. The most dangerous breakfast for fat loss is the sugary, fast-carb meal everyone calls healthy, eaten on an empty stomach right when your cortisol is peaking, spiking your blood sugar, flooding you with fat-storing insulin, and training your body to hoard fat around your belly. You fix it by leading with protein and fat, keeping the carbs on top, and starting your morning the way that man does, with water first and coffee held back, before you eat a single bite. None of it costs $1, none of it needs a gym, it just needs you to stop trusting the box and start trusting the mechanism. So tonight, leave a glass of water somewhere you will see it before your phone. Drink it first tomorrow, eat protein before sugar, and watch what your cravings do by the afternoon. If this changed how you see your mornings, send it to the person you know who eats clean every day and still cannot understand why nothing moves. And then watch this next, because the everyday foods quietly stalling your fat loss are not the ones you think.